It started in the summer. I was alone in my apartment since my partner who I live with worked full-time. It was a great day. I'd just gone for a walk, watched some TV, until panic suddenly hit me, for no reason. I thought I was dying. I had no symptoms, nothing was wrong, but I managed to convince myself that this was it. That's when my hypochondriasis started.
To a lot of the anxiety disorders or people struggling with this type of anxiety is challenges with the unknown and uncertainty and what could happen. And specifically with hypochondriasis, it has to do with getting sick or contracting an illness, right? And so that could be anything from constantly checking their body for melanoma, to having stomach pain and thinking that it is cancer, to worried about contracting rare illnesses because different interactions, and having that make sense in their mind because they're following certain extremes and catastrophic thinking.
According to a study done by the Canadian Psychology Association, around 3 to 5% of the Canadian population suffer from intense illness concern, while 20% suffer from a milder fear about illness.
It's all different backgrounds. It's not one specific origin to something like this. However, I will say that usually there is some sort of evidence that has proven it right in the past, whether it's about a lesser illness or someone else who has gotten sick by something and having a connection to that. Not always, but at least in the cases that I've worked with, there has been some tie that has proven, there's been evidence that like, well, this could happen because this, and this. And that is the problem with dealing with uncertainty, is that anything can happen. And we can never guarantee that something is not going to happen. And that's part of the challenge.
Damon says that people with this type of anxiety often experience similar symptoms. That can include getting multiple opinions from specialists.
The constant checking or worrying about things specifically related to their health. So if we look at, and then that would depend on the illness that they're most worried about. So if we're looking at melanoma, it's constantly searching their skin and getting partners or friends or family to look at their skin and see if there's anything new, going to various different clinics, getting an opinion and then a second opinion and maybe a third opinion. If it is another really common one is just Googling and trying to be WebMD and looking up everything and finding connections and this and that and reading articles and looking up statistics and trying to be the most knowledgeable about it. And all of those are compensatory behaviors that are trying to reduce the anxiety. Again, trying to understand and deal with the unknown and being certain that they don't have this. And that's often the challenge.
Since COVID-19, this anxiety has been heightened for many, according to medical news today.
Information out right now, and some of that is misinformation, and some of that is real information. A lot of it is real information, and that's very scary for people who are living with this type of anxiety because they're not getting a break. There's never a time where they're not hearing about this unless they turn off their phones, they don't go on the internet, they don't listen to the radio, they don't watch TV. And very few people in this day and age do that. And so there is a lot of challenge.
Jennifer Fable is a motivational speaker, author, and life coach who specializes in mental health.
Is the false belief that we are broken and the obsession about trying to fix the broken parts and seeing any kind of deviation from societal norms as indication of this brokenness and of a problem versus seeing it as just another part of the healing journey. And so it's about hyper-focusing on the dysfunction to the exclusion of what parts of the life are actually working. I think that doing our best to try to find some measure of power and control over our lives in a world that oftentimes makes it easy to feel powerless and out of control. And our health is in our control, and so it's something that we can focus on, that we can make changes to, And so it's easy to get caught in the trap of, well, if my life isn't working, then what in me is needing to be fixed, and how can I focus on that to make my life better?
Health anxiety is often related to a form of obsessive compulsive disorder, according to Healthline. Fable says that with this type of anxiety, it is common for people to obsess over their symptoms.
Hyper-focusing on any kind of symptom that is, like I said, considered a deviation from what our expectations are. So we expect our body to function this way. This is what they said healthy is. This is what it's supposed to be. And this is what my body's doing. And that gap is labeled as a problem. And so the goal is to try to fix the problem, try to fix the broken parts. And it becomes an obsession because, well, if this is what I'm supposed to be and this is what I am, then clearly there's something wrong with me. And if I want to feel normal, then I have to fix that gap. Otherwise, I'm never going to get there. So my big reminder to people is that at the end of the day, our only job is to shine our light so bright that we ignite the light in others. And if this is dimming your light, you can spend a lifetime trying to protect the flame, or you can become fireproof and know that no matter what's going on around you, even if you're in a tsunami, your flame has the right to burn, and that when you shine it so bright, you actually ignite the light in others, and then that is how we actually can contribute to the world in a meaningful way. And so instead of looking at it as this is my dysfunctional disease problem, the coach in me will say, look at it as the opportunity to be called to a higher purpose of your soul, because I believe that it is a wake-up call to get us to show up in the world, because we are meant to be here and do something wonderful with our light. We are not meant to hide it in the dark.
I still get the fear sometimes, but not as often as I used to. When I feel the fear coming on, I just tell myself that I'm okay and the fear will pass. But I make sure that I'm not looking anything up online, or it'll just make it worse. It's important that you don't cave into this fear and just take a moment to breathe. For the Rarsonian, I'm Alissa Hibbs.